We're just going to wait one more minute because, as we know, there might be some people trickling in from another session, and then we'll get this started. But it looks really good. Good morning, Rachel. Good morning, Michelle. Good morning, Leslie, Jessica, Kate, Kat, Judy, Jason.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, of course, Jason.
Yeah.
Can't forget about you.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is wrong on my screen.
No.
Oh,
Too late. Too late, Diane. You're Jessica now.
My daughter did something to my computer.
I'll just say Diane. I'll change it for you. There we go.
Oh, thank you.
All right. We're going to get started in just another second. Just making sure everything looks good. Just to remind you guys, this session is all about collaboration. But before we do it, I'm going to play a quick snippet of the trailer so that you guys, again, know what we're going to be talking about in just a second. Hi, everyone. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Jason. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. In our session, we'll be sharing all things collaboration in EdTech. We're super excited to share multiple ways for you and your students to stay engaged and connected. What else we got for them, Jason?
We're going to be talking about the classroom community, what that means, and seeing what true interaction looks like in a virtual environment.
Nice. We're looking forward to seeing you guys at our session.
Hey, Patrick, did you say nice?
Yeah, I said nice.
Oh, I thought that's what you said.
Yeah. Like as
What
in,
did you mean by that?
like as in nice baby?
Yo, PUSD! Let's kick it! Nice, baby. EdTech is nice, baby. Alright, stop. Collaborate and listen. Patrick's back with Jay Spence on a mission. Something we're gonna show just might be collaborative tools used daily and nightly. Will it ever stop? Yo, we don't know. Don't turn off your Zoom video. It's an extreme. We're doing this wearing sandals. Doing ProGrow with tech tools you can handle. Dance. Just don't show us on Zoom. Get ready to jam with Jamboard in your classroom. Maybe Nearpod is your remedy. With interactive content, it's incredibly awesome and easy. You'll say it all day. Engaging while learning, your students will say, if we have a problem, my teacher can solve it. Look at us now, collaboration involved it. Nice, baby. EdTech is nice, baby. Here we go. Nice, baby. EdTech is nice, baby.
Good morning. I know that's going to be ringing in your head. We had to bring it with that awesome intro. My name is Patrick Dela Cruz. With me is Jason Spence. We are the EdTech coaches for the district. We're super excited to be sharing with you, not just to stop, collaborate, and listen, but a lot of tech tools that you can utilize to level up your collaboration and engagement with kids. And I wanted to open up and start this discussion with engagement and collaboration and what we're doing now to help break up the monotony and the Zoom fatigue to reconnect with our kids. For those of you who know me, I'm a big fan of strength-based education, but I'm also a big fan with pop culture and making things, current and relevant for my students and for all students to really, want to jump in and learn. And as you can tell with this song and what we did, we wanted to give you a throwback to Vanilla Ice's Ice Ice Baby, but also just get you guys engaged in the conversation. At this time, I'd like for you guys to post in the chat some ways that you try to re-engage and get your kids engaged, with online learning, virtual school, work from home, distance learning, all that good stuff, or even in the classroom. What we're doing now, everything that we do matters. Everything that we do makes a difference in our kids. So I'm going to take a moment to let Jason share, what student engagement and collaboration means to him as well. And if you guys wouldn't mind going ahead and sharing that in the chat, that'd be awesome.
Hey, everyone. So getting to be a coach and working with so many teachers, that's the main thing that we always talk about is what can we do to up the engagement for students so that they're not sitting getting. So that I think we're both passionate about this topic and finding new ways for students to interact with the material. And it's also less pressure on you. So you're kind of putting it back on them for them to participate them to answer questions, collaborate together with other students. So I'm really excited that we get to kind of look at these tools we're going to be looking at today, and hopefully you'll be able to take something back to your classroom.
Thanks, Jason. And just to repeat, I mean, you guys can see the chat too, but I'm seeing a lot of people saying using things like Jamboards, playlists, breakout rooms, movement breaks. Those are super important. Kahoot quizzes, whiteboard.fi, fun Friday games. Awesome. Thank you for sharing, everyone. And a lot of the stuff that Jason and I will be sharing is obviously just more of an overview. We don't have time to get super deep into it. For those of you who've used Jamboard before, I'll be sharing some resources so that you'll be able to use more Jamboard templates, because that's our jam, pun intended. And I just think that, you know, this time is just for all of us to reconnect, to re-energize with each other and have fun. So let's get started. I'm going to go ahead. This is the table of contents, by the way. I'm going to skip through that and talk to you guys a little bit more about the collaborative whiteboard known as Jamboard. So why use Jamboard for those of you who haven't used it before? One, it's great for brainstorming. It's a great way for students to share tools, share what you know with students. I love it for SEL check-ins, and I'll show you that. And when I say and more, I'm going to show you 3 other examples on my Jamboard. I'm going to quickly go ahead and go to Jamboard now. And if you guys want to, if you've never used Jamboard before, there is a hyperlink on the slide. You can click there and it'll use your Google profile to create your own Jamboard. But to create and start a Jamboard is super.
Hey, Patrick, can you stop for a second? Where's the link to the Jamboard?
The link to, I haven't shared it yet.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
But the link for them to open Jamboard on their Google profile is right on the image right here.
Oh, okay. That's linked. Got it.
So I'm going to go ahead and just simply start a blank Jamboard by clicking the plus sign. It's an untitled jam. I can title it whatever I want right here. The top row, look how simple the layout is. It's not overwhelming, so which is really nice. You have your undo, redo buttons, your zoom in. Setting the background is cool because you can use different grids. So if you're doing something where you need to annotate for a math problem or a writing activity, you can pick different grids or colors. You can even add images as a background as well. So that's a really cool feature. If you need to erase the frame completely, just click clear frame. And then to move from slide to slide, or if you need additional slides, click here. I was asked in a previous session, how many slides can you have in Jamboard? And I looked it up. They say up to 20. I haven't tested it out yet. So, I mean, we can try it later or you guys can try it, but that's what it said when I Googled it. The other thing that I want you guys to see is on the left-hand side are your tools. And again, they keep it super simple with the tools. Right now I'm using the cursor, the select tool, but the most popular tool in Jamboard are these stickies. You click it, you type in your note or whatever you want to say, if I can type, and then you can change colors and click save. And look how quick and easy it is to put up a sticky. And if you need to change the size or make it bigger, you can literally do it like that by dragging the corners. You can even spin it if you need to and just change the angle. And you can make copies or just delete it from here. Really easy. Aside from adding the stickies, you can add images. So let's say you need to find an image. You just click the Google image search. And let's say you want to look for a dog. Google will just pull up any dog. And what's the cutest dog? This is the cutest dog, I think, right there. So it'll put it right there. You can resize it. So guys, a really quick and easy way. And again, I can't emphasize quick and easy enough. For us to not have to scramble and prep and do all these things, you can do it from Jamboard. And kids love it because they'll learn with us, which is really important. Another cool feature here are the shapes. So you can add different shapes to your Jamboard. You can add text. So here's a text box. You can add your text in there. And then you have your laser pointer that if you need to, show something visually, it'll kind of linger for a little bit and then go away. So that is just the basics of Jamboard. And the best part about this is in real time, you can have up to 50 people utilizing this. So I know in high schools and in secondary schools, you might have a big group of students doing something with brainstorming or some fun sessions using Jamboard. And that's really why it's super popular. I'm going to go ahead and show you my 3 recommendations, and I'll share with you my resources. I'll post it in the chat in just a minute and answer any questions, Jason, as soon as I'm done. But I'm going to share with you some of my jams that I've found to be very helpful. The first one I want you guys to participate in is a check-in Jamboard. This is one of my favorite ways to check in with students, especially for SEL. How are you feeling? So I'm going to go ahead and share this. and hopefully this time it works. I'm going to paste it in the chat for all of you to join in. And what I'd like for you to do is go ahead and find a meme or a GIF that describes how you feel today. And to refresh your memory on how to do that, you're going to go over to the image icon on the toolbar. You're going to select Google image search, and you can just type for a meme and just say, tired. Okay, so here's my tired meme. I'm going to pick, I'm going to pick this cat yawning. I think it's yawning. And then just pick a tile and put it in there. So let's have some fun this morning. You guys find a meme that fits and describes how you feel today. If you have more than 24 kids, if maybe you're taking someone else's class for the session that you have multiple slides that you can, and I did this on purpose. I made copies. I made duplicates of these slides so students can paste it anywhere on the board. But what a great way, and another fun and interactive way for students to share a meme and hopefully be appropriate with their memes and what they're posting. Digital citizenship, right? First and foremost. But see how easy and quick it is? And I really think that these types of checking activities will change it up and hopefully give you guys another way to re-engage and connect with your students. So I'll give you guys about another minute to do this, and this can stay open when I show you the next one. But I'm seeing some really cool smiley faces. Those jazz hands, looks like 3 jazz hands going up. Awesome. All right. That guy's definitely excited. Happy. Cool. All right. While you guys are adding to that, I'm going to go ahead and show you another jam in Jamboard, specifically for collaboration. So this one is going to be about work roles. So if you're using Zoom breakout rooms, this is a cool one. Again, I didn't make this. Shout out to Mrs. Park. She has a website. She has free resources for Jamboard and Google Slides. It was just a matter of taking the time to find a lot of these resources and talking to like-minded colleagues about some of these resources. And this one is about using breakout rooms in your Zoom sessions and having 5 students have specific roles to solve a math problem. So here, for example, is your group work role. So every student would populate their name as what role they have. And the math problem is on the next Jamboard, where they have to solve Mango's team as they scored 77 points in game 1 and 110 points in game 2. So they have to go in and solve this problem in their breakout room. And then the next slide is for group 2. Again, you can do separate Jamboards assigned and send links to just those groups of students if you want to, so that they can't see the other Jamboards of other students' work. But for simplicity's sake, I added this here as well so that you can see that. But this was
Patrick,
really,
I have a question. This is from Katie. She just wants to know, do you need to lock the background so students can't change them?
so you can't lock the back. Well, you can lock once you set the background, that's locked. So they can't change that. But anything that gets put on the Jamboard cannot be locked. That's been a request. I know we're trying to do a lot with like,
but that image, right? That's like an image background. So when students go to that Jamboard, they're not going to be able to change any of it, right?
This is not. I did not make this a locked background. So you can. So students.
Okay, but you can.
Yeah, you can upload this as a background for sure.
Oh, okay.
For sure.
Yeah, and that's the difference. Yeah, so, and you'll see that button up top. It says set background. That's the difference. And this works on Google Slides too. You can actually add a background instead of just posting an image on top of a slide.
Yeah. I wanted to, obviously students can manipulate this so they can have more space, or they can just create another Jamboard to do this. But yeah, it's your preference if you want to lock it and make it a background or not. Totally. So again, I just found this to be super powerful in terms of doing a Zoom breakout room, having students work, knowing their roles. This is super powerful too, right? Because some kids want to be the leader and the scribe and the presenter all at once. It's like, okay, let's focus on your role so that you can learn how to collaborate and use that to present once you guys found your solution to this math problem. Okay, so another one that I want to show you guys is in preparation for Valentine's Day. So happy early Valentine's Day to all of you. But I thought of this idea because I was seeing a lot of cool Jamboard ideas, but someone mentioned this as well, is that it doesn't just have to be for Valentine's Day. This could be for birthdays. This is a Jamboard where you would go ahead and have every student's name at the top of every board. So here's Bailey's, here's Nathan's, here's Amari's, and you get the point. But what's really cool is every student can post a positive, uplifting, awesome note. Instead of having the physical, notes with the candy or the tattoos and they're putting on their faces and necks and stuff, here's a, nice, safe way to do it virtually. So I just thought it was really cool. And you can see that Bailey's, Jam, Miguel said, you're awesome. Thanks for being my best friend from Amari. So really cool way to do this. Birthdays, again, for birthday jams, post that up, have it as a link. The sky's the limit, guys, with the simplicity of Jamboard. And I think that's really what separates Jamboard from Google Slides. The ease of use, especially for my primary teachers out there, I feel your pain and the struggles of getting them to be more independent with technology and doing things. Here, if you show them and do it with them, they'll eventually know some of the basics. And the most simple thing to do is use this Post-it and take advantage of, how simple this is really meant for students to share an idea and put that thought out there. They call it stickies, by the way. I always just say Post-its. So anyways, Valentine's Day Jam, just to recap, we have that collaboration Jamboard. And then obviously the other one was a check-in for SEL. I'm going to go ahead and paste my main resource, which is Mrs. Park. She's an awesome teacher. I forgot where she's from, but she has a whole page on her website of free resources that you guys can check out. And at this time, I'll go ahead and post that. And if there aren't any questions, or if there are, post it in the chat. I'll manage that while I pass the baton over to Jason Spence to talk to you guys about Nearpod.
All right, everyone, give me 1 second. Okay. Let me. Sorry, I was looking at everyone's images on the board and I was laughing. All right, let's share my screen here. Okay, so we're going to talk about Nearpod, which you probably have all heard, and you're probably wondering, like, why Nearpod? It's because they made a lot of changes during the pandemic, and I think previously with their free account, I really wasn't impressed by it because there wasn't many ways for you as a teacher without paying money to use it. But they've kind of changed how they operate over this time, and I think now their free account is actually better, as good as it's been in years, because I did used to use it all the time. And so when we talk about Nearpod, why are we using it? For one is, being able to present information. I know that a lot of us use Google Slides and we share those with students. But with Nearpod, it has that added functionality where you can insert activities within the presentation. And so it's not just them looking at slide after slide. You're going to be able to break that up by like doing poll questions. You might insert a link that they open up, or you can do a mini quiz at the beginning or end. And I'm going to kind of show you how that works too. Game-based learning. They actually added some game-based learning activities to their presentations. You can use it with Zoom. It's very easy. And they have lots of free lessons now, whereas before you used to have to pay for them. And my favorite part, which is the report feature. So every time you do a Nearpod, at the end, they send you a report in a PDF, and you can kind of see how the kids answered questions or did the activities. So I'm going to go to Nearpod now. All right. So I'm just logged in through Google. This is not an updated account. This is a free account. I'll show you up here on the right. You'll see it says upgrade account. So everything you're going to see is what's currently available in the free teacher account. So to get the bad stuff out of the way first, because there's only really one bad thing, is you're limited to 100 megabytes of space in your library. And you're wondering, like, okay, what's that? So it will tell you, and you can kind of see, and I can't point to it obviously because then it brings up this thing, but each of these lessons will tell you how big the size of it is. So this one's 10 megabytes, this one's 5, one's 5, and this one's 5. So currently I'm using 4 lessons and it's 20 megabytes. So basically you can have around 20 Nearpod lessons in your library at a time for free. Now, once you've done the lesson though, you're going to get the report, and that's up here. You're going to see that report feature. And once you have the report and you've done the lesson, you can literally just go here and delete it because you've done the lesson. There's no reason to keep it in your Nearpod library. Now, obviously, if you're creating ones from scratch, that would be kind of a bummer because those do take some time. And if you did want to use it again, that would be an issue. So it's kind of up to you on how you want to do that. But if you're just using NPP files, which are kind of, it's just like, it's like PPT PowerPoint, sorry. That's the terminology they use, I'm sorry. So they're called NPPs. If you'd want to just use them from Nearpod library, it's as easy as deleting it because it's always gonna be there. You can go back to it next year. Okay, so I'm gonna show you the Nearpod library before we get into some of the activities. So like I said, it used to be you'd go in here and they'd have some free lessons, but the majority of them, over 90%, would cost you money. Well, it's kind of changed. They do have premium collections, but most everything they have in here now is free. So you can come here every month and they're going to show you some featured Nearpod activities. A lot of these having to do with current events or the time of the year. So you can look on my screen and see just like how a lot of these could be useful in your classroom starting in February. Okay. And so whenever you want something, if you pick current events, actually, let's go to something that's more elementary. Eleanor wonders why. Okay, so I'm going to go to this one right here, and this is done by PBS Kids. And you can go into each one. So I can pick the grade level. Well, this is just kindergarten. So I'm going to just say animals are everywhere. Click on that. So whenever you click on one, there's always going to be this add to library button. You can also preview, and it's going to allow you to kind of see it before you add it to your library. Again, if you add this to your library and decide you don't want it, you can delete it immediately and it doesn't count towards your space, okay? So it's not like 100 megabytes and once you use that, you can't use any more even if you deleted it. As long as you keep it under 100, you're fine and it's gonna tell you anyway. Okay, so if you like this lesson, it looks like it has some videos in there. And since it's kindergarten, I'm not surprised it has a lot of videos, and audio for them to explore. I'm trying to see if, okay. So we listened and learned and had some fun. What did you notice? Now tell someone. So a lot of ways for it to be interactive with them. So I'm going to add this to my library. It clicks add, show in my library. I never click this show in my library just because it doesn't show the way I'd like it. So I just go back up to here to Nearpod because that's going to take me to my library automatically. Okay. So I have my animals are everywhere and I'm going to hover over it. And these are the three options. This is new, live participation plus Zoom. And what this does is it allows you to click here and it's going to open the presentation and you're going to see a code and I'm going to make this a Zoom meeting. And let's see if it'll, I don't want to get kicked out of the room by clicking something that like auto joins me to a new Zoom session, but you can basically create your own meeting for Zoom and students would be able to join with that code. Okay, this is optional. You do not have to do this. What I would probably do is click off here and you can take the link and you'll see it right down here. I'll click off of it and you could put that link anywhere. You could put it in your Zoom chat room. So if you already have a Zoom room that you use and it's the same link every time, you're not going to share with Zoom or whatever they have. You're just basically going to copy this link, post it either on Canvas, in Google Slides, if that's what you use for digital choice boards, or you're going to post it in the Zoom chat room. It's already got the code in it. So once they enter it, they shouldn't have to enter in this code. Okay. So, and it's as simple as that. Once they're in there, because you need them in the presentation, you can't just share your screen and have them follow along because on their part, they're going to have to be able to kind of see on their screen their student view so that they can do the interactive activities, if that makes sense. Okay.
Jason,
so
we have a quick question
yes.
before we transition about videos being blocked in Nearpod. Are they blocked? I have a teacher that says that's her kids seem to have some trouble with the videos.
It just depends if it's YouTube. Like on this presentation, it looks like it's PBS Kids. It probably wouldn't be blocked. You can embed the Nearpod inside of Canvas, and I think that would probably bypass the blocking feature. But if you're just using the Nearpod website for them to go to, that might be an issue. So and I know that there's no Nearpod integration for these free accounts, but you can still always embed content. So you can embed one of these Nearpod lessons in Canvas and have the students just go there. That would be an option too. And if you're wondering, like, well, how am I going to do that? You can always email EdTech and say, hey, just kind of what I just told you now. Could anyone help me with this? And we'd be more than happy to kind of help you along, just see what that would look like and then try it out. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm going to go back here.
Too, Jason, sometimes home filters, right, that will block certain things. So if your filter at home with your Wi-Fi, it could be an issue. So
and that's something else entirely too. So yeah. Okay, so this is a Nearpod lesson that's open. Nearpod is pretty great at kind of allowing you to do a lot of activities on the fly. So if you ever want, you can click here, and it's going to show it's right now. So if you ever click the student icon on the bottom, it's going to tell you who's there and who isn't. Okay. Which is nice. So once they have it, like, it's going to tell you whether like they've left the Nearpod. It'll have like a little red light next to their name. So you'll know that they're not in it. You can hide student names, but you can also open a whiteboard for them to draw on, or another activity. So if I click add activity, and this is where their interactive content is, you can add a link, a question, draw it so they can draw on something, or another slide, or true false. So there are some things you can do on the fly if you want. Okay. And right here, I'm gonna click this little down arrow. And when you're done, you can end your session, or you can go to reports. Okay. What I like is, as I move through this, as you know, if you've used Nearpod before, you'll see me scrolling through. Yeah, so, and this is good. So whether it's audio or video, if you're showing this with the students, honestly, if you're doing it together and there's a video, you'll just play this video on your device, not on theirs. And that also will bypass the issue with filtering if they need to watch a video, if that makes sense. So I'll click this device only. And as I'm moving through here, it's moving through on the student's end as well. They can't sit on another slide or coast around and like look at other parts of the presentation. Like in Google Slides, they can do that. Just like you can do that right now on our Google slide. But through here, as I move as a teacher, it's moving on their end as well. And so at this point, I would just be sharing my screen, playing the videos, the students would listen to it, but they could follow along on their own NPP, and they would just answer the questions, but they wouldn't play the videos, if that makes sense. And so obviously, it just takes a little practice about doing certain things until you get used to them. But it's a real great way to put in activities inside. So I'm going to go back and exit this. And before we move on to creating our own, I wanted to show you whenever you hover over one, you can always do student paced. So I know a lot of you are looking for ways to have more independent activities for your students, because I'm sure you're meeting in small groups or going into breakout rooms and you need kids working on activities themselves. So all of these Nearpod lessons can be student paced. So the student can open it, they can read through it, listen to audio, watch videos, answer questions, participate in any interactive content. And at the end, when all of them have done it, all you have to do is go up to your reports and it's going to show up right here. You can open it. It's a PDF file. It's going to tell you what they answered, how they answered questions. So you're going to be able to see whether they understood it or not. And as a teacher, that's great, because it's like, okay, I have 30 students. I'm going to go through. It looks like 22 students really understood it. The other, 8 students really struggled. So I know that I need to meet with them and kind of go over it because the independent activity didn't work. And that's kind of where the power in this is. You're going to get a lot of reporting features. And that's just really hard to get when you're doing a presentation on Google Slides, because, you have to do a lot of asking questions. But I mean, how do you ask questions of all of them? So being able to do an asynchronous activity like this and then still get a report with all that data is very helpful. Okay, so are we doing fine on time? Yeah, I think we're okay. All right, so I'm going to go back to my library. And like I said, you can go to the Nearpod library and download any of their material. And again, they have a bunch. And it's ELA, it's math, it's digital citizenship, SEL, a lot of topics that we're discussing in education nowadays. But you can also create your own. So when you click create, excuse me, you can click lessons or videos. And videos, I can get like, this is basically, we have Canvas Studio. So if you're using kind of interactive content in just a video, I would say use Canvas Studio just because it works all the time, no matter what video you use, and you can do the same thing. So really, the power of Nearpod is in the lessons. So I'm going to click lessons. Okay. Now, there's two ways you can do this. You can create your own Nearpod within Nearpod. You can do that, or you can go to Google Slides, and I'm going to go back and say this is my student lesson, okay? These 8 slides. What I can do is, and this works in Google Slides for any Google Slide presentation, you click File, Download, PNG. Now it only downloads 1 slide at a time, but like once you get going, it goes pretty quickly. So you want to download all your slides as PNG files. The reason I say PNG is because you will get a higher quality looking slide. I found that when you use other things like JPEGs, don't use JPEGs. PDF documents, it just doesn't look as good. Even the Microsoft PowerPoint doesn't look as good. But whenever I use PNG images and then upload them into Nearpod, they always look pretty crisp, if that's important to you. I know you would like to probably use an SVG because those images come out really amazing, but unfortunately, not a lot of places allow you to upload them because those file sizes can be quite large. So I would just stick with PNG. So whenever you're on here, you click File, Download, PNG, and then you go through each slide and download them all. Once you've done that, you come back here and you'll see down here, it just says drag and drop. So if you have that file folder open with your 8 images, you literally just drag and drop all 8 right into here. And you're gonna see a big blue thing is gonna come up and say, you know, drop them, and then you drop them. And then all of a sudden you're gonna see all your slides right here, just like you would in a normal presentation. The difference now is you're going to be able to add content that you couldn't do in Google Slides into your presentation. And I'm going to show you what those are. So you're going to click Add Slide. And they have a lot of different things. This used to be where you needed an upgraded account. Like you could do like say these 3 and all the rest would be upgraded. You could go to activities and you could do these 3 and all the rest would be you have to upgrade. Well, it's no longer that anymore. You can use any of these. So that's why I said they really changed kind of what teachers can do on the free account. Content is if you want to add like a URL, a link. You can do an image slideshow if you felt like. They do have VR field trips, which are pretty cool. So students can still do it even without a VR headset. They can kind of like move around the cursor and like kind of see things in a 360 view. So that one's pretty cool too. Okay. But honestly, most of you are probably going to use the activities. So I'm going to click on activities and kind of go through them. One is time to climb. Sorry, running out of. So if you, time to climb is kind of like this game-based learning activity where you can put in questions and the students basically, I wouldn't say compete against each other. They just like answer questions, and the more they get right, they climb this mountain. I'm going to click this so you can kind of see. It's taking its, yeah. And what's great is once you enter in time to climb, it's going to give you access to their library of time to climb activities. And you enter in questions, okay? And as they're going, they're answering these questions. And it could be on any of these subjects, or you, like I said, you can make your own, okay? So if you want to quiz them on anything, so you read a book and, you know, after each chapter, you have like 5 to 10 questions, you can enter them here. And they do this basic, like this activity where their character climbs up this mountain. There's also 2 other places they go, like one is underwater. So it just basically is a cool way for them to answer questions while playing a game. And it's built right into Nearpod so that you don't have to do anything other than add these questions and put it as an activity as part of your presentation. Okay. I'm gonna go back here for a second. So if you want to read more about time to climb, you can enter that in on Google, just search time to climb Nearpod, and they have a whole page like kind of discussing what that is. But it's really cool activity if you're looking for more game-based learning in your classroom. You can ask any open-ended question you want. And again, they'll all answer it, and that will be all in the report. Matching pairs. So if you want to do that, you can do a quiz at the beginning, the middle, the end. It's up to you. This is new. You can add your Flipgrid topics right into the Nearpod lessons. So if at a certain point you say like, hey, I want them to do a video response, add that Flipgrid topic right in there. They don't even have to leave the presentation. They can make their video and it puts it right in Flipgrid. So if you're using Flipgrid already, this is a cool way to kind of even add more activities inside your lessons. Collaborate boards. So if you use Padlet, you're probably familiar with these. They're very simplistic. I'm not going to say they're anything like Jamboard, but kids can basically use it like a Padlet, a very simplistic version. So it allows for collaboration right from within your presentation. You can kind of choose the style, but again, they're very simplistic on purpose. And once you do that, you can insert it. So once you go to that, it's great. Then you can say, all right, everyone's going to put up a Post-it, a note about something they're thinking about, a question they have, whatever you want them to do. And that's right there in the Nearpod presentation. Oh, sorry, I keep canceling. So, and then we have drawed activities. If you want to put any images or a blank screen, they can draw. This one's one of my favorites. I know it's simple, but polling students at the beginning, just to ask them questions. Like, man, like whenever I use polls in the classroom, it's amazing because students just want to talk about like the responses. They're always, you know, what's your favorite food? And, you know, they always want to like analyze or argue about it. And, you know, it kind of gets dialogue going. So I like that too. Last two, fill in the blanks memory test. So a lot of different ways to include activities in these presentations. And whenever you do it, it drops this slide in. So you're going to see all your Google slides, but then you're going to be able to add these interactive elements and you can drag and drop them in between the slides you want. Okay. And then once it's done, you go down here and click save and exit. And nice and easy. Of course, they're not going to let me because I didn't create anything. And then it's going to be part of your library. Again, though, like I said, once you're at around 20 Nearpod lessons, it's going to say that you are at your limit. So that's the one downside to this, that you can't just keep going and building as many Nearpod lessons as you want and keeping them. So what I recommend is if you are using both your own created ones and other ones from the Nearpod library, to delete the ones from the Nearpod library first, because you can always go back and grab them later.
Hey, Jason, we have about 3 minutes left.
Okay.
And there's a question in the chat specifically about Canvas lessons. Is there a way to share the created lessons with a fellow teacher?
Canvas lessons? What do you mean?
Sorry, not Canvas lessons, Nearpod lessons.
Oh, okay.
So you
Nearpod.
created a Nearpod lesson?
Yeah, I don't think on the free version you can. Yeah, because on the upgraded version, I know that they have a district library and any teacher can share to that district library and then any other teacher can get it. But on the free version, I don't think they allow that. I'm sorry. Yeah, thanks for that question though, Sarah. That's and that's the limitation you come into. They'll make it easy for you as a teacher, but once you want multiple teachers to use it, they're like, okay, now you need to pay. So, yeah. All right, so we are going to go back here and just to finish up. We're not really going to talk about these, but we just wanted to show you, if you're looking for ways to do more interactive activities with your students, these are great tools. You've probably heard of a lot of them. Some you probably haven't, like Wakelet, I think is very underrated. So, Creately is a great tool. And as you know, Patrick put in Thrively. So
Thrively is so underrated, guys.
Yeah, make sure to, as you know, you all have upgraded accounts. So do your students, all the students are in your classrooms in Thrively right now. All you have to do is have them go there and take the diagnostic. And so you kind of can figure out more information about them. So yeah, other than that, what time does this session end, Patrick? 9:55?
1 minute.
Oh, okay. So if you'd like to stay on and ask some questions, feel free. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your ProGrow day. Thank you for coming out.
Thanks, everyone. It's so good to see everyone, all the familiar faces.